presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to John in Orlando. Hey, John, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Tom. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
I'm doing great, man.
I want to thank you, first of all, before I ask you about the stock. You and Tim Ward and all the gang at TFNN. I had a really, really good year after the October call you guys made. My 401k is up 72%.
Congratulations, man.
A couple of things I made with Coinbase and other stocks that I made, and I've had a good year.
And we appreciate you growling and prowling with us, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
What is going on, everyone? This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. Of course, this is the Tom O'Brien Show. He'll be back Monday. Well, first things first I want to talk about. We had another one of the live trading Fridays this morning, 9 a.m. to noon, and it was awesome. We looked at a bunch of things, natural gas, silver, the Dow, gold, all of that, and big ones for the day were the Dow shorts. And take a look right now at the YM. You know, so we opened up about 9:30, and you can kind of see how that worked out, right? It was a pretty good time. Again, I want to say if you haven't joined it or tried it yet, I really recommend it. We're still doing the whole thing. Tommy said he wanted you guys to have it. I said, no, don't give it to him. And he said, no. Give them $50 off for as long as they subscribe still. So you use Larry Live at checkout, and you're good to go. We had a great time today, seriously, and it's a phenomenal turnout every time. So anyways, let's take a look at what we're doing in the market right now. Kind of not a stellar day or anything. It's kind of slow, not a lot happening. Trading at 52.44 right now in the E-mini. Russell futures off about 0.89% currently. NQs sideways still. Dow futures up about 0.23% as it stands now. Gold waking up a little bit today, up about 1.4%. Trading at 2,373. Crude oil, we had a little bit of a pop-up and then come right back down. We're hanging around that 78.34 level. Tesla continues to be off. Trading at 168.68. How much lower can she go? We're down 1.9%. So one of the big one of the big pieces of news today, obviously Elon Musk had been firing a bunch of people from Tesla, right? They're kind of trimming down the amount of workers they have. There are a few kind of phases of that, and the most recent one was the supercharger business, right? And what was so interesting about that is that Tesla makes these superchargers, they put them around everywhere, but the Biden administration had said, this is going to be the standard for all EVs. You're going to use these Tesla chargers, and this is obviously, I mean, you think about that being built out over the coming decade, was huge for Tesla. And so this happened and basically said we're not pursuing it anymore. And then Musk went online today, like a few hours ago on Twitter or X, and said, actually, no, we're going to expand it after they had just gotten rid of 500 people who were running that business. So he said Tesla will spend well over $500 million on growing its network this year. And this is new things, not just developing or maintaining what they have currently, but spending this money on expansion. Obviously, like we were saying a few days ago, they fired everyone. I'm trying to see if there's any other bit of information. Not really. He just releases these things on Twitter, and it's kind of crazy. But the takeaway is they are investing more money, and it is for growth, right? It's not just for maintaining the structure. So we'll see what happens, the infrastructure. We'll see what happens with Tesla going forward. Still in a really rocky situation. I had watched his interview, this was like a few months ago, it was released, but I just watched it recently, his interview with Don Lemon. And, he's a guy, Musk is a guy who just speaks his mind, whether that's good or bad for publicity or business. And so he was saying some things which I thought were interesting, and then some things it's like, man, that is a rough thing to say to millions of people, especially potential investors and, institutional investors as well, who tend to be a bit more sensitive on things like that. The dollar trading at 105.29 currently. Google off slightly, Meta sideways, Disney still at that 105.76 level. Okay, big news again is with the Fed, right? Give me 1 second here. There's been discussion now with the Fed that we're not perhaps going to have any rate cuts going forward in 2024 at least, right? And inflation still anticipated to be a little bit hot. You did have a higher unemployment number last month, I believe. But, you know, is that transient, right? It's hard to kind of say. I think maybe this level of inaction, we've had an up week in the market. I think this kind of level of inaction today on this news, first I want to say the fact that it's not selling off more, I would suppose. I mean, you kind of see the sell-off here a little bit, right? But the fact that it's not more damaging is kind of indicative that the people who are investing, right, are a little bit more optimistic going forward, right? Even in the event where you have Fed members, you know, Lori Logan, especially saying it's just maybe a little bit too early to start cutting rates. And then you had other people in the Fed saying that 2024 might not even happen. And again, one of the things that I've been talking about, covered a little bit on our TikTok page as well, is, you know, some of these run-ups were, I mean, a lot of this run-up was kind of based on the concept that rates were going to come back down sooner or later, right? And that was going to be in 2024. And it's seeing that we might not get that. So it's kind of hard to say. That happened a little bit earlier this morning. Of course, we were talking about... Excuse me, we were running the live Trading Friday earlier, so it's hard to kind of cover that while we had that going on. Let's see here. TSMC, of course, actually did quite well today, if I could just pull it up. So April was really good, continued to show massive demand for these AI chips, which is what we were talking about yesterday. Give me 1 second to pull up my numbers on it. All right. So in April, so this is for TSMC, of course, we're up 4.2% today. You had ARM come down a little bit yesterday. Obviously not the exact same concepts, but still in the same industry. So Taiwan Semiconductor saw April sales jump 60%, which is pretty awesome. Sustained artificial intelligence demand is still there. So after sales, the revenue growth increased by 34.3%. That was in March. Global smartphone industry returned to growth over the first 3 months of the year, including the highly competitive Chinese market, which may drive orders for the TSMC's traditional mainstay of mobile chips, which is interesting, seeing that they weren't hit as hard with ARM as that, but of course they do some different things as well. TSMC weathered a year of muted demand for personal electronics. The AI boost is pairing with the rising prospects for consumer demand, massive. The company's shares soared to an all-time high in April. And yeah, things are looking okay for TSMC as it stands now. Let me see what ARM is at currently. Obviously, it really sold off. Yeah, so I mean, that was a buy opportunity yesterday. Let's be real. If you got in that, awesome for you. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
All right, folks, welcome back. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This, of course, is the Tom O'Brien Show. This is just a lot on AI today. Let's be real. Let's look at SoundHound, okay? Up 7.83% today. Basically, this is a artificial intelligence voice and speech recognition developer. This is becoming so prominent, right? This is what's going to replace, a lot of when you're calling, there's a robot on the other end. Now, this is a weird thing, and I've said this before, I think maybe once or twice, but when you're calling a company, right, and you're on there's like, say a command and we'll put you through to the right thing, that's not actually a robot listening to you. It is a robot obviously speaking, but there's more often than not a person actually on the other side of that who can listen to what you're saying and patch you into the direct place. Anyways, this is kind of weird, but the idea is that AI is going to get so good that it can actually listen to you and then make those decisions itself, and then obviously can generate a more lifelike kind of conversation with people on the phone. Now, and again, it's not going to be just used for this, but this is where a lot of the capital will be generated from. Regardless, up 7.84% today, which is pretty neat in and of itself. Now, you have a lot of things going on, right? So first things first, when you have stuff like this that can end up mimicking humans, right, you run into problems. We've already seen it in the cases of like social engineering and cyber attacks where they're using AI voices in order to fool people, particularly elderly people, over the phone. These cases have been kind of isolated, but still the point is there is capacity for this kind of tech to be exploited and down the line exploit other people. And so you had OpenAI come out and say that they now are not so much for the voice, because it's not what they do, but when you're generating content, so say an article is written via ChatGPT or using the DALL-E function, you have a picture created or a video created, OpenAI now has the technology. They probably have always had it, but they're rolling out the technology that can be used in order to determine, the provenance of it. Was it from AI or did a person write it? This is super important, and I think, I'm not sure how they layer that for the consumer. Like, do you have an application on your computer or your phone that when you're looking at something, it can be like, this is AI? I'm not sure how that gets rolled out. But certainly for like investigative purposes, this will be super important. And then you also have TikTok going forward about to label videos that are AI generated, which I think is huge as well. We've already seen it. You've only seen little kind of like bubblings of it, right? but just how south this kind of tech can go. If someone's looking, one, you have a bad actor, but then two, let's just say you have kids online trying to troll people, and they make some news story. News organizations in America, it's more of a race to who can publish the thing first as opposed to whether or not it's legit. They can backtrack that at some point, but damage can already be done. Obviously, we saw that in that momentary sell-off maybe about, a year ago now, where someone posted on Twitter that the Pentagon was bombed. It turned out just being completely fake, but you had a bunch of, big media outlets posting this kind of stuff. It was fake. So tech like that, coming from OpenAI, and then definitely on consumer platforms like TikTok, are going to be so necessary as we as a species are learning to adapt to this kind of tech. So I think that is pretty neat in and of itself. And again, I'm sure that will be a market in and of itself as well. Some kind of neat stuff, again, with generative AI and kind of how far this can go and why this really is so important, right? I mean, we just see it. Yeah, I read a lot of people online. I know people in real life who don't think this kind of stuff is going to really change anything. I see people overhyping it currently as well. But it's important to keep in mind that the thing we interface with via ChatGPT and DALL-E is just kind of like, you're screwing around, right? Of course, you can write things like emails, you can write a business contracts, that's super important. But the whole idea of generative AI and why I think, I'm opposed to a concept like a chip bubble or something along these lines, or like this is going to be like a nothing burger or whatever, is things like this, right? So this is the idea that generative AI is going to be able to design drugs in the future. Now, that sounds kind of weird until you realize that there are, I think there's 3 major programs in the world that are used. Actually, one of them is owned by that guy that raised Daraprim prices like back in 2012 or whatever. Let me see here. He went to jail for it, not for that, but for some securities fraud unrelated, but they looked at him because of this. Martin Shkreli, Turing Pharmaceuticals. So he actually has a program, and it's kind of interesting. This was a few years ago, but it has a database of all these different molecules, right? And essentially, you can just sit there and mix and match all day long in order to develop these certain compounds, and it can kind of project, certain side effects or what it would target and how it works. It's super interesting, and the idea is that you can start using generative AI for these. I don't think that's Shkreli's business at all, but regardless, it's pretty cool. So this is from Eli Lilly's chief information and digital officer. He was talking about generative AI to search through millions of molecules. With AI able to move the speed, obviously pretty quickly, they can put these things together. Move to speed of discovery, which in 5 minutes can generate as many molecules as Lilly could synthesize in an entire year in traditional wet labs. Obviously pretty crazy. Top AI-generated biological designs, molecules that the CIO describes as having weird-looking structures that could not be matched to much in the company's existing molecular database. This is what's kind of cool, right? Like it can kind of think outside the box on this. You even have it in a more, in a less kind of like cerebral sense. You have some of these companies using generative AI to design engines and bodies on high-performance cars, right? Because they're able to think outside of these kind of structures that we've pigeonholed ourselves in, which is just typical in, whatever culture, right? But this is really where you start breaking into some like really weird stuff, right? That can kind of change things, which I think is pretty neat. Google DeepMind had already done this through AlphaFold. Yeah. This is another one here as well. Cutting the cost of it. Anyways, the point is I think this is it's pretty neat. And since we're talking about AI as well, I think it's nice. And to wrap up essentially the AI comment itself, this is I want to spread this article over to you as well, because I was having actually an argument with some of my friends about this. I have, one of my friends is in automation for an industrial company. The other one, he's a network admin for a large service provider. And so a lot of these guys interface with automation every day and AI, right? And so we were kind of having this argument, and one of the things that myself and one of my other friends were arguing to someone else was that you have these job losses, right? And they're saying that AI is taking it. And one of the arguments is that it's not really happening in the way that I think some of these large companies are talking about, right? I think this is a way for them to kind of save face. Not save face, but the idea that, they had so much money, right? And they were able to expand operations, so they hired all these people, and then stuff gets tough, and so they fire all these people. And in order to look good, I think, or at least cushion the kind of blow that they would have in the stockholders' eyes, they say it's because we're implementing AI. I don't know if that's the full image, but folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Tigers, you've seen his show, you've learned from his webinars, and now it's time to trade side by side with him. Join Larry Pesavento for the second month of his new service, Live Trading Fridays. Hosted in the Tiger's Den trading room on Discord, Larry has analyzed a number of commodities and indices, placed profitable trades, and explained his method. Whether you're new to trading or are a seasoned market veteran, trading side by side with a titan like Larry Pesavento will only enhance your game. Utilizing Fibonacci retracements and ABCD structures, Larry provides decades of insight into when to place trades, when to exit, when to ignore, and so much more. Learning is doing. So if you're serious about learning technical analysis and becoming profitable in this uncertain market, Live Trading Fridays is a must-have tool in your arsenal. Live Trading Fridays occur every second and fourth Friday of the month, so trading events for this month are May 10th and 24th. If you're serious about trading, we'll see you there. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. Tom O'Brien Show with myself, Jacob Shoup. Before we went to the break, I was trying to have a complete thought on what I was saying. And the point is, really what I want to talk about as we have more conversation surrounding AI, the more aware you should be as an investor of whether or not that company is genuinely implementing AI. And then if they are implementing generative AI, for what purpose, right? My argument with this is we had a bunch of layoffs earlier this year. It was obviously due to just increasing costs, right, and increasing cost of capital. These large companies had to cut sections out of their business so they could kind of just essentially save some cash flow. And what they were saying is the reason why we were doing this is because we were implementing AI. Now, that wasn't the whole thing. It was just a part of what they were saying. My argument is they were using that as a kind of way to cushion their position. I think they were saying this to investors because it's like, look, not only do we now have more cash flow freed up, but we're now also using the newest tech. And the question is, again, what were you using it for? There's no doubt that things like ChatGPT can be used by workers to kind of, increase productivity or whatever, right? That's the point of tools. But when you're saying that, what is it, 1/3 of business leaders, this is from Resume Builder, okay, leaders say AI replaced workers in 2023. And it's not really an answer of what they were doing, what these workers were doing who were replaced, right? And so on this same level, and I've griped about this before too, you have all these companies saying, hey, we use AI, and it's like, what? To do what? And their stock prices were going up. And so this is so interesting because an article was released today as well from a guy over at Microsoft who's a managing partner, from the venture capital group, he was basically saying is like, you guys got to be careful. And he was talking more to venture capitalists, but it's really anyone if you're investing in the market. What was the one? Lemonade or something like that. They were saying they were using AI to create better prices or something like that. And a bunch of people pumped it and it got dumped as well, right? And it's again, you have to be a little bit discerning and kind of do your due diligence on these companies when they're saying that. So for instance, in this article, it says, there's already been 2 major investment advisors, Delphia Incorporated and Global Predictions, in March were fined a total of $400,000 because they used marketing that said they had AI-enabled investment predictions to their clients when they were not actually using this technology. It's just bizarre, right? And just asking ChatGPT you give it a data set and it generates some kind of output based on your parameters is not really what people think about when you say I'm using AI, right? Like it's not this like deep learning concept and it's thinking about everything. It's just a language model, right? Anyways, I'm going to be done talking about this. They said a good litmus test. This is one of the venture capital guy from Microsoft. And a good litmus test for corporations who are saying they're using AI is look to see if they have been speaking about AI before this massive boom. And I think that's awesome. I think that's very true. Obviously, your big tech companies, you have like Apple developing chips right now for AI. On their own, they're partnering with TSMC, which is massive. Obviously, Facebook, Google, all these companies, I genuinely believe, are producing AI. And you can already see some of the products of that. But just be careful when you get these kind of random, low valued companies saying we're about to adopt AI and then they blow up and you want to get in on it because this might be the next big thing. It's probably not, right? Let's be real. So anyways, that's kind of my input on that. Okay. The reason I'm about to bring this up is because I was actually talking to a friend of mine and she was like, she was telling me she was doing those buy now, pay later things. I can't remember what it was on. But I was like looking at her, I was like, oh no. And she ended up like not paying it back. She had forgotten. She's actually a very responsible person. But she had just forgotten. She thought she paid it. And it got me thinking, I wonder how many people, and this is someone who has, good money, she's responsible. And I'm thinking like how many people out there who aren't like that are using this buy now, pay later? Is it documented? And if it's documented, how is that being used to determine the health of the economy? It's super interesting. So I was just researching some stuff online. And in fact, there was this Fortune magazine how do you call it? Whatever. Article issue on it. This is pretty fascinating. This phantom debt from buy now, pay later schemes this is saying a $700 billion black hole. We can look into that claim a little bit because that's pretty insane, right? That economists aren't accounting for. So this article is saying Wall Street is generally convinced the economic health of the U.S. consumer is remarkably better than it was. But one analyst has pointed out there is a gaping hole in that picture, and it is this phantom debt, this buy now, pay later, which often goes unrecorded by credit agencies. Obviously, you have a lot of the bank CEOs talking positive about the U.S. consumer. So CEO has encouraged Jerome Powell to be mindful of relying too heavily on consumers to prop up the economy. Citi CEO has pointed out the cracks beginning to appear at the bottom end of the income ladder, which I think is a legitimate argument. And said payment for these products is taken in installments over a longer period of time. So people are purchasing products, contributing to stronger sales for brands, but without paying the full balance at the time of sale. Obviously, this is the buy now, pay later. So instead of payment for these products is taken in installments over a long period of time, some of which come with service fees or with fluctuating repayment options depending on an individual's perceived credit reliability. Now, I'm not sure about the credit reliability, but from the one that my friend had, it was like some really popular clothing brand. And so when I was younger, like maybe 20 or something like that, when I was still in college, I actually worked at a pawn shop, right? And it's a crazy experience, but you know, we had pretty strong interest on everything. And then if you didn't come in time and pay it, man, that interest would sink you pretty deep, or we just ended up taking whatever you pawned, right? That is definitely how a lot of this is working, for sure. Especially if they're not checking credit. They're gonna have some kind of flat interest on it. And but the question is, you know, what happens if you don't pay? Do they send it to collections, or then you gotta deal with that? Anyways, I think different companies use kind of different methods for that. So the problem with this, for economists at least, is that the larger buy now, pay later platforms often decline to share their customers' purchasing patterns with some or all credit bureaus, concerned that their customers' activities may ultimately bring down their credit score. Afterpay, for example, shares none of its data with credit agencies, and Klarna shares its data with the UK credit bodies. The lenders may also report some but not all of their data. This is so nuts. Folks, stay tuned. We will be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched The Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show. The Den is going wild, and it is 3:42. So let's get the show on the road right now. China EV maker Zeekr. I think you said that like a decade ago or something. They'd put you in a hospital. Zeekr's America, essentially, they rose as much as 40% after an expanded initial public offering. That's the biggest U.S. listing by a China-based company since 2021. Zeekr's American depository shares opened at $26 each on Friday after the company sold 3.5 million more than it had planned the day before at the top of the marketed range of $18 to $21. The shares traded at $28.70 apiece as of 12:17 p.m. in New York, giving the company a value of about $7 billion. Underwriters have an option to purchase as many as 3.15 million more ADSs and an over-allotment option, which if exercised in full will lift the offering to 24.15 million, representing about 9.1% of Zeekr's issued share capital. Woo. Like, the capital's still here, right? And I think people still have a taste for things that are considered, a bit more quote-unquote progressive, like things like EVs. Maybe there's not so much faith currently in American ones, especially when you're having some of these, pretty high-profile CEOs saying that the Chinese are going to dominate this market. Maybe they're saying, hey, China is still emerging in a certain way, and I want to get a piece of this pie. It's kind of interesting to think about. But regardless, a China-based company blowing up like that on its IPO is pretty nice. Overcapacity in its domestic market also afflicts Zeekr and others such as BYD, leaving them eager to boost sales overseas. Again, this is going to be a major problem for Western auto manufacturers, right? I mean, maybe they can start manufacturing them in China. I think like Toyota, not Toyota. I think Ford is going to start doing some assembly in Spain, which you get cheap labor there too. So, I don't know. It's a super, again, we're in this transitional period, I think in so many ways in the global economy. Kind of neat. So remain to see what happens with Zeekr. All right. Just give it 1 second, guys. See, we might buy some new chips for these computers. Okay. This is yeah, staying on the auto thing. Rivian had really, of course we're talking about Nikola a few days ago. Rivian, that company's in a bad situation. Rivian has been doing, was doing moderately okay. It was actually delivering the amount that it had said. I'm still, a little bit nervous on this company, but I mean, check this out, right? So Rivian gets nearly $1 billion to help expand operations in Illinois. In early March, Rivian paused construction of its planned $5 billion electric truck plant in Georgia. The cost-cutting measure hoped to speed production, particularly of the company's mid-size SUV, the R2, which will now be made in an existing plant in, catch this, Normal, Illinois. as opposed to Strange, Illinois. To help make it happen, Rivian last Tuesday announced an incentive package worth $827 million from the state of Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The funds will help expand operations in Normal, improve public infrastructure, and boost job training programs for Rivian's workforce. All in an effort to help get that R2 production up and running. In a statement, Rivian founder and CEO RJ Scaringe says he was grateful for the investment. The gratitude makes sense, okay? Lost about $1.45 billion, Rivian did, in the first quarter. So the company still needs to find ways to trim costs despite the $1.2 billion in revenue that it did during the same period. The company is still losing around $38,000 per vehicle, while you have Chinese companies operating at a decent profit, and now they're shipping overseas, right? So saved money by putting the pin in the Georgia project, added 600 newer modified robots to improve efficiency on existing production lines. You know, if I fill in again for Tom, I'm gonna have to call my buddy who works again for this like massive automation company, right? And they sell they sell robots to different factories, and they're one of the largest in the nation for it. That might be kind of cool to call him for like a segment and kind of get some insight on that as well. They're doing one, I've spoken about it before, but the little spot robots from Boston Dynamics, they're retrofitting them with arms, and so this thing can now select stuff out in factories and get it going. It's a weird, man. So anyways, one of the other things I enjoyed talking about and kind of mulling over is nuclear energy, and how it's so funny how one technological advancement is going to spur progress in so many different industries, right? So I was, essentially suggesting that the way we're going to get enough energy to run these massive databases, which are just essentially going to be the AI, is going to be nuclear, because we don't have enough energy production right now on Earth in order to run this kind of stuff when it's fully fleshed out. And then an article came out that Microsoft actually hired some nuclear czar, and now Sam Altman says this is super cool, that he's going to take nuclear energy company Oklo public to help further his AI ambitions. Let me see what Oklo is at right now. Okay, we don't have it on Thinkorswim yet. Give me 1 second. Huh, I can't see it. It has begun trading. Anyways, we can just discuss it a little bit. On Friday, advanced nuclear fission company Oklo started trading on the NYSE. The company, which has yet to generate any revenue, went public through a SPAC called Alt-C Acquisition Corporation. And that's founded and led by Altman under the ticker symbol Oklo. So it's OKLO. Shares dropped 26% on Friday to $13.54, valuing the company at close to $600 million. Oklo was set to receive more than $306 million in gross proceeds upon closing the transaction, according to release. The business model is based on commercializing nuclear fission. The reaction, okay, we know what nuclear fission is. Instead of conventional reactors, these companies aim to use mini nuclear reactors housed in A-frame structures. The goal is to sell energy to end users such as the Air Force and big tech companies. Oklo is currently working to build its first small-scale reactor in Idaho, which could eventually power the types of data centers that OpenAI and other artificial intelligence companies. So Microsoft, I would assume, maybe somewhat involved with this, especially since it's Sam Altman, but I'm not sure how connected that is, I suppose. Altman is co-founder of OpenAI, has been valued over $80 billion by private investors. He said that he sees nuclear energy as one of the best ways to solve the problem for growing demand for AI and the energy that powers technology without relying on fossil fuels. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos have also invested in nuclear plants in recent years. And guys, you get this starting with these tech companies, but if we can use it as the common person, our energy will be so unbelievably cheap, you wouldn't even believe it. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. So, we have a short segment right now. I haven't done this in a while, but when I was first filling in, and this was just to kind of, I don't know, I like talking about it, I suppose, right? Just kind of give some interesting update if anything's going on in like the science world or whatever you want to call that. And if like high mortgage rates or anything like in creeping inflation weren't sketchy enough, well, we have a big solar storm this weekend, which is kind of interesting, I guess. Let's look at that. The U.S. government has issued, this is NOAA as well. That's right. The U.S. government issued the first severe geomagnetic storm watch in nearly 2 decades, advising the public of at least 5 Earth-directed coronal mass ejections, as well as sunspots covering an area 16 times wider than the Earth itself. Okay, so what does this mean for us? Does it really matter? I guess short-range communications, so like waves that bounce off the ionosphere, they can get disrupted, right? But a lot of the tech we have now is not going to have many problems. I guess you can kind of like have some issues with satellites getting fried in some capacity, some of the electronics on it. Now, the reason I bring this up is 1, because it's kind of interesting. 2, it's not really anything to worry about. But 3, there is, on computers, right? This is just kind of a cool little insight. On computers, everything is still processed in binary, right? So it's either on or off, yes or no, this kind of logic. And so it turns out that when they were first working with like satellites, and it actually even happens to like mega computers on Earth as well, some of these solar flares can, if it's very rare, and because you're just, the Earth, you think of it as an ocean, you're trying to hit one little target on it. This is kind of what happens in some capacity with some of these solar rays. Obviously not in the case of like these massive ejections, but the point is that the ions from the sun can actually come and hit computers and mess up computations, turning the values from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, and it screws the whole process up. I thought that was kind of neat. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. We'll have more action on Monday. Let's pray for that, okay? Folks, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll be back Monday morning. Take care.